Yo, what's up guys? Corey's Handman Sandhagen here. Welcome to the channel, doing post-fight breakdowns of some of the fights that happened last weekend. Gonna try to just educate you guys a little bit, point out a few of the things that went good and then went bad in some of the fights, how we can correct those, how we could do things better so that you guys are, getting some information, whether you're a hobbyist, just a fan or an actual fighter. I think that they'll help you guys understand the sport of MMA a little bit better, which is really all that I'm trying to do. I don't really give a shit about showing my personality or nothing like that. I want to educate you guys because, I think that life is kind of missing that a little bit. But anyways, let's get into Shara Magomedov. All those names are really hard for me to say. Shara Magomedov versus Bruno Silva. We had some good things happen in that fight. Shara definitely, has that typical kind of Russian style, at least as far as like TKD bouncing goes. I want to talk about that a lot so that you guys can understand that a little bit better. Let's talk about how that fool Silva got dropped. Let's get into it. Like, subscribe, peace. All right, guys, cool. So first things first, all right? So the Shara Magomedov, dude. This is pretty, I like to put styles kind of into like their own little separate bin where everyone does their own special, unique things inside of each bin. But this style is very unique, like just how the Dutch style is very unique. A boxer style is very unique. A Taekwondo style is very unique. This is one that's really unique too, okay? It's kind of this bouncy TKD style with a little bit of a longer guard. They're not super concerned with staying here, but they're also not being like old school like Taekwondo match with their hands reeled down like this. So it's kind of a hybrid of the two, which I think is something that I really think is super cool about that part of the world and the way that we've got to learn from them as far as martial arts goes, because they have been doing, like, it's been a part of their culture for so long that they've kind of cut out a bunch of the uselessness, and they're really like living a little bit more in the future of what the sport is because they've been doing it for a lot longer. So it's really cool that we all get to learn from them a little bit. But Shara Magomedov has this really bouncy style, okay? With this bouncy style, it's really, it works really well because distance management is almost its first priority when you have that type of style. When I'm grounded and rooted into the floor, I'm trying to put big power. I'm trying to, like march people down, be in really good position. This one requires and really favors the person that does distance management well. That's incredibly important in MMA, okay? Like, that is super duper important, is being able to control the space. In boxing, there's this just agreement there's this agreement that's made where it's like, hey man, you're gonna stand there, I'm gonna stand here, and we're gonna kind of like play this little game where we're both gonna stay rooted, figure out who could slip punches, who could defend themselves better, and then answer. And that's, I know, really simplifying something that isn't that simple, but in MMA, you don't get that same agreement because the gloves are so small, okay? If we're standing in front of each other with little gloves like this, really, like not that great of an idea to do too often, versus in a boxing glove, you have a lot more pad, okay? So this style has a lot of bounce to it. It has a lot of distance control stuff to it that's really awesome, all right? I also really like, they throw like a ton of lead leg stuff. They still switch their stance, throw that rear leg, but you can tell that that front leg that they're used to is the one that's really the one that fires up really quick, and the one that they've probably been drilling since they were 6, 7 years old. And you can definitely tell that with Magomedov. Like, the dude is super sharp with his lead leg. He was throwing a ton of really good lead leg kicks, like to the outside of the leg, staying safe, staying real long. Hit the dude with, maybe it wasn't a question mark kick, but some type of kick that went real good to Silva's head. Rocked him, thought that the fight was over, but it wasn't. Good for Silva for surviving that. But what I do want to get into is, shit, what the fuck was I about to say? So the one spot that Magomedov just got in a little bit of trouble, because he was, again, doing this really good TKD style, kind of a higher, longer guard, working a lot of kicks, staying at real good range, boom. The one time that he got in trouble in that first round, he decided to plant and kind of just be a little bit here, because you could tell that he just got sick of circling. And I know that from first-person experience that it isn't a great feeling to feel like you have to move the whole time. Okay, that's like, it doesn't feel offensive, and I know it doesn't look very offensive. You can definitely be the point scorer in those types of scenarios, but it can be difficult to actually like hit and starch a person, because the more space that you're leaving, while it makes it hard for that person to attack, it also makes it harder for you to attack, because you have to cover more ground. With more ground comes more reaction time from the other person, and that's just a difficult thing to deal with sometimes, being a mover guy and a distance guy, okay? So the one time that he got in trouble, he was a little bit backed against the cage, and he decided to kind of stay in front and bounce a little bit. That's an okay thing to do, but you have to have a certain body language to you and a certain demeanor to you that is a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more offensive looking. So here's what I mean. It's the difference of this, which is kind of what Magomedov was doing, and something like this, where I'm glued to the mat and all of my weapons I feel like I can throw at the same time. Like if you tell me now to throw, I have to plant and then go. If I'm gonna stay put, I wanna be grounded to the floor so that when you say go, I can fire things immediately, okay? I don't have to ground and then fire. That's really important. It got him hit. He was here like this, probably wanting to do something offensive when Silva took a step in, but because he wasn't super rooted to the floor and he didn't have that really jerky look to him, he got hit. He survived it, it was fine, but could have been something that he changed a little bit. And just so that you guys know, you guys, if you are gonna decide to stay in place, you have to have your finger on all of your triggers or a couple drilled out responses, whether it be a jump knee, whether it be elbows, whether it be overhands, whatever it is, you have to have like a planned out crash for when that type of scenario starts to happen. All right, cool guys, make sure that you guys are liking and subscribing below, comment below, whatever you guys want to see some more of. Me and Elias are up to $30 on the YouTube station, so that's a pretty big deal. So maybe if we hit $100 at the end of the year, we'll maybe do a little something special. Probably not, but maybe. Peace, have a good week.